that I was running this.
Do you have much to discuss this week? Or is there much to discuss this week? I've kind of been a little bit arm's length the last couple of weeks. Very busy in other ways.
Not massively. We were trying to get 0.6 out last week, but that didn't happen. There are a few blocking bugs. One of which, what's his name? Demundix or whoever he is in IRC has just fixed for me, which is very kind of him. The other one is this Lyra tests bug. It's probably a good place to start. 1359 or whatever the hell it is.
Oh yeah, I was away for the last 4 or 5 days, so we were discussing that mid last week, I remember, and I haven't looked at it since then. What's the latest on that?
I don't know. There hasn't been any movement on it in 5 days, so.
Andy.
Okay,
so yours.
Yeah.
Still failing.
But for different reasons, as the last thing Rajul said. See the stack trace. Let's see.
Mmap length is greater than file size. That implies that download's being corrupted.
Yeah, I think that was just a temporary problem with him. With that particular run.
Yeah, that doesn't look like that's a standard error. It looks like, yeah, download got interrupted or something.
Sorry, which issue we switched, or PR we switched to?
1359.
We run these tests again right now on my machine.
That's what I was just going to do.
See what happens. So one thing that we did talk about was I think Dan noticed it originally that the timestamps, the millisecond timestamps for Larry's were not right due to a bug basically, and I put in a PR that fixed that, but I may have made the test start failing.
How did you fix the bug?
Well, it was something was being passed in as an integer. That's all it was, instead of a float. So the millisecond info was being passed in as an integer. So it only updated itself once a second.
Oh, really? That was it?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I just changed it to float. But the tests presumably have the wrong millisecond information in them.
These are failing for me.
Okay. What kind of error is it? Assertion error?
I don't know. I need to remove the X fail to get the trace back.
What is Xfail?
X fail means that if it fails, it doesn't report the error. It skips it if it fails. It still runs the test, but it ignores it if it fails.
So it's kind of like, we know this test is broken.
Yes, that is exactly what it is.
I see.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
Hang on, what? Now it passes? Oh, maybe that wasn't. What? Oh, I am confused. Okay, these seem to be passing for me now. Are these downloading any data to a temporary directory, or are they downloading them to...
Good question.
They're not downloading them to a temporary directory, are they? I think we should probably set up a way to make the tests run using a temporary data directory rather than the user's directory when they're running from, because it's very difficult to... I'm just going to purge my SunPy data directory.
So it just downloads. What does it do? Lyra tests. Which one is it? Test Lyra date.
Interesting.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's just gonna download a file, put it in SunPy data, whatever Lightcurve normally does.
Oh crap. God save it. Deleted half the code base by mistake. Well, now that's interesting.
Is this still 1359?
Yeah. So when I ran these the first time, they failed. Oh wait, no, hang on. I'm mad. So does anyone? I don't really understand what the problem is here.
Yeah, I'm running the test now on my machine. It's taking a while. I seem to recall, well, in the thread it says that I ran them and they failed. I don't actually remember doing that, but I said I did, so I must have.
The last I remember was that Rajul had come up with a different error to the ones you guys had been talking about and was going to work on it. That was the last thing I remember.
That was a download error. That's what it looked like. So, because I tried in the same day, I had no problem obtaining the file. The error that I had was on the start and end time stuff. But you fixed that, Andy, right?
Well, the stuff you get out of the file should be correct. The test may not have been updated. So it may be simply a case of the test is looking for the wrong numbers.
Right. So if you just change the numbers, then that should be fine.
Well, that would be the simplest case. I just want to check whether that is what's going on.
When you're running the tests, are you running the tests for just the Lightcurve package, or are you just running all the tests?
I just ran all the tests, which was a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, they can take a while. How are you running the tests?
Tests main execute, and executing the main.
There is a way to specify package. When you do that, I just can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
I just go into the subdirectory, do py.test, test underscore what I'm going to test.
Yeah, that works. You can also do this.
Well, all those solutions are much smarter than what I just did.
See, I've run this a good few times. Once where it downloaded the data every time, and once where it didn't, and it seems to be passing all the time.
Well, I'm just going to execute these commands.
Not ideally be talking to Rajul about this, since he's probably working at the most.
Yeah, he's probably asleep though.
Well, right, yeah, but I didn't mean as part of this.
It's like 11:30 where he is. Yeah, okay, well, so the moment he's checking that the difference in time between the two is less than 1 second,
Oh,
which
Right,
seems
which
to
is-
be working.
yeah. We should probably do better than that, though. Oops.
But I mean, it depends what the test is trying to, what the function is trying to test. Is it just trying to test, test Lyra level? Is it just trying to check that if you put level 3 in, that the cadence is less than a second, or less than,
No, I think he was just, essentially fudging the test so that 1 second is close enough. But I don't think that's a good solution because should be exact. We should know exactly what the timestamp should be.
Yeah, but you can only know that for a specific file.
Yeah. So yeah, that's true.
And you can't just sort of download latest. You have to have a very specific file because the nominal cadence is 20 hertz, but if it's during a campaign, it could be 100 hertz.
Right, but here it
always.
specifies a date. So he's basically picked a day, and we know what the first timestamp should be, unless the data gets reprocessed, of course.
And the data is being reprocessed, or is just finishing off being reprocessed as we speak.
Haha. Well, that might be interesting. And so
And this is the argument for having, some small test data. Just so long as the function or whatever you're testing is doing the right thing, whether the data is the latest or not, is not really that important.
No,
Depending on what
we
you're trying
need
to test.
more. We need more offline tests.
Yeah.
well, there's another weird thing that has just happened here, where I don't know whether it's supposed to be like this, but if I do lyra.timerange.start, it returns a datetime object. But if I do lyra.timerange.end, it returns a timestamp. Is it supposed to do that?
No. I mean, we want SunPy time. You don't want a time. You mean like a string?
Well, hang on, let me do type on it. Well, the end is a pandas tslib timestamp. But the start time is a datetime.datetime.
Well, that's all manner of strange.
Yeah. Very odd.
Okay, so I've just checked back out to master, and it seems that the millisecond values in the parameters to the test and the ones that it is reading from the file are different.
Yeah.
So that's just a case that the values in the test have not been updated.
I think so.
That's the easiest solution, yes. Let's actually check the file, shall we?
Right, hang on a second.
What file is it downloading? Those nearer level many fits files. Many fits files.
Oh, Yeah, this what's in a test has to be wrong, right?
If you're pulling data from the right location, the data can only be right.
No, sorry, I'm misreading the test file. Don't mind me.
That's interesting. It only seems to be failing for the level 3 data. Okay. It looks like when someone set up the level 3 test, they've just copied the millisecond value from the level 2 data, expecting it to be the same.
But it looks correct according to what I just done.
At least that appears to be the problem with the first test. This second 2 tests are only downloading different level data, so I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, so 12, 6.
Level 3, the time, any time values below 1 minute should be 0. 1 minute, 1 minute cadence. So 1 minute average.
How the hell is time stored in these files?
Yeah.
As integers?
In the FITS files?
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, I've just opened a level 3 FITS file in AstroPy to look at the raw data, and column 1 is time, big endian integer.
For level 3,
Yeah.
will that be minutes of day? In that
That'll
case?
be minute of day.
If it was level 3, it would be minute. Yeah, I mean, it would be. If it is just an integer, then it's minutes from midnight, UT. I think.
But then why the hell is it getting all up on milliseconds if the resolution of the thing is in minutes?
Well, hang on. What's the number of the first and second time?
0 and 1.
If it's level 3, that means it's minute cadence. It's 1 minute average data from the level 2 data, which is the nominal cadence, whatever that happens to be.
So, alright.
So there
So
should be
why-
no milliseconds in the timestamps that are created from the FITS file. It should be minute resolution, unless there's a data gap.
But it is putting minutes in. It is putting seconds in. I don't know why.
At what point where?
I don't know. Somewhere in the read step. How is this doing the convert into? Maybe this is what the integer hack was doing. No, it's still integerizing the minutes.
I have to go in a few minutes, but if necessary, I can just look into the exact format of the FITS files and confirm tomorrow. It'll be very easy for me to do.
For the level 3 data, it's still passing in an integer number of minutes. So I don't understand why this is a problem at all.
Well, I actually think that level 3 is passing. I think it's level 2 that's not passing.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't think there's a problem in level 3. But why is level 2 failing? That's the question.
But in the level 3, there's still milliseconds in the
Yeah, they probably shouldn't be there if there's no actual millisecond information, right?
There's still milliseconds in the timestamp, which is odd.
Well, it depends how you
Unless-
calculate, right? If you just calculate offsets from some base time, then that base time can have milliseconds, microseconds.
True.
So long
That's
as
probably-
so long as they're all
That's probably
zero.
what's going on.
Well, it looks to me like, yeah, the timestamp in the test has not been updated for level 2 data. It's incorrect. So we should be able to just change the value in the test. The value that is checking for level 2. And it should pass. No, well, it's a separate question whether it's a useful test or not, but I think that would fix it.
I'm still really unclear as to what the test is really trying to achieve.
I guess it's just trying to make sure, let's say if you make some change to the Lyra light curve, right, and somehow you've broken something, this dude might find that out because maybe you weren't reading the data properly anymore. That would be the purpose of a test like this. It's like, are you still getting the data out properly?
Yeah, it's testing the time passing
Yeah.
from anything else. The test can probably do with being improved and also being made offline for a start, but moving past that.
Yeah.
So it seems that when you pass an integer number to panda or through pandas, it's coming out with 0.047 milliseconds or whatever it is on the end of the timestamp. I mean, it's the same for all of them. It doesn't seem to be a problem.
Is that because the base time has 0.4
Maybe, yeah.
milliseconds, and it's just adding a minute to the base time?
Yeah, it's
In
possible.
which case, that's probably fine. Or if the base time is in the FITS files, that's an issue with the FITS files, not, you know.
I don't know where it's getting that base time from. Start.
Maybe from the file, I think.
It is getting that from date obs, one way or the other.
From date obs, that sounds right. Date dash obs in the FITS file.
Yeah. H1. No, it'll be H0, won't it? H0. Yeah, it's in the start time. That 0.47 microseconds is in the start time in the header.
Okay, good. That's fine. And that's an issue with how we are able to produce the
Level
FITS files then.
Level 3 is fine. So that implies that it is just the bug that's changed in the level 2 data. So let's quickly reload this level 2 data and check that this is working. Okay. H1.
Yeah.
So that's, yes, integer numbers. So what's time in level 2 data then?
It's just float,
Is
I
it
think.
integers?
No, it's float. Single
Yes.
float.
Seconds, I would guess, but I have to pull up a file and confirm that, and I have to run in 2 minutes. So
I think it is seconds. If you have a look at the IDL version of this code, then they divide the number of seconds in that time column by 86,400, which is 24 times 60 times 60.
So it is decimal time, alright, Python date time through the documentation.
in the FITS file, does it not have time unit and tell you whether it's minutes or seconds? Level 2.
Yeah, no, I think it just, the read underscore Lyra, yeah, I think it looks for some level marker and then divides whatever's in the time column by the appropriate number. 1440 or 86,400.
So when you pass a float to seconds in a time delta object, which is what we're doing in the read step, if any argument is a float and there are fractional microseconds, the fractional microseconds left over from all arguments are combined and their sum is rounded to the nearest microsecond. If no argument is a float, the conversion and normalization processes are exact.
Sounds reasonable. I mean,
So we are, by virtue of the fact we're using date time rounding to the nearest microsecond.
right.
What is the resolution of that? Is that a problem? Do we need millisecond resolution?
The maximum cadence is 100 hertz. So just do the sums and figure that out.
So 10
Well-
milliseconds is the. We need to get the millisecond. We need to get the up to 100th of a second correct, right?
Yes.
Well, the way the test is written at the moment, it doesn't matter, right? The only thing it's testing is whether the first value that comes out of the file is equal to some expected value that we've manually written. So what we might want to do, I guess, if we're interested in the milliseconds, is check the first 10 values, right, and see if they're all at the correct cadence and are exactly what they should be.
No, but hang on. Millisecond is.
Millisecond is 1,000th of a second, and Lyra goes at 100 hertz, which is the 100th of a second.
So it's now rounding. Yeah, it's rounding to microseconds. So that's okay, right?
Should be.
This isn't a problem.
Down to a single microsecond, that should be fine.
Cool. Right. Yeah. In that case, it's just a case of fiddling the values in the tests.
Yes.
Having successfully just convinced myself of this fact. Let's do it.
And if that data ever gets reprocessed, then we may have to change those numbers again.
The data has been reprocessed, it's just not available yet. But it will.
Do the sample times change?
I'm not sure. I don't know because I didn't do the reprocessing.
Okay.
I would imagine naively that they would be one of the things that would stay the same and the irradiance values would change. But I can't guarantee that because I'm just assuming, which is not necessarily the best way to go. I can ask, or again, like I said, the other way is to take it offline and have a sample fits file because
We should have a sample file if we can make one that is nice and small, and we should still have an online test to make sure that if the data gets changed, we know about it.
Fine.
But we should also be testing this code without an internet connection, which we are currently not doing.
Yep.
I have to run, guys. If you have any other sort of questions or conclusions about this, just you can add it to the conversation thread on GitHub and tag me so I get it tomorrow. Or
Sure.
some other way that suits you. But best of luck. Have a good evening.
Thanks. Have fun.
Take it easy.
Yeah, I think we're just fiddling the numbers in the test at the moment. But they aren't the most useful tests ever.
I'm just going to fiddle the numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. What? Wait. Huh?
What's up?
Oh, okay. Nothing. Just going mad. Ignore the crazy person. Oh. So, continue ignoring the crazy person.
So is that a zero? Like this will make 0.6 releasable?
Hopefully. There's another bug which I found in the process of trying to package an RC1, which I didn't have time to actually test enough to guarantee that it wasn't just me being silly, so I need to check that. There appears to be a config issue, which is not so much a code bug as it is a packaging bug, which frankly are worse. Start, what start? Huh? There is another JSON bug as well. Actually, I should flag that.
Is that the skips first file?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, there's a PR that's just open for it. Handy. That's a nice, easy fix. I like it. I don't think there's much else. I keep finding things that need doing to the unified downloader. I'm wondering whether setting a summer student loose on it is a good idea.
On Unified Downloader?
Yeah.
Like what else is there? I thought that was pretty close. And what summer student? We can't use a GSOC one, can we?
Well, we can a bit. The data downloading and file naming and side of it needs a fair bit of work, because at the moment with the VSO you can use the query response object from the VSO to name the files, and you can't do that with any other client. So having a unified downloader that doesn't actually, which is client dependent, is somewhat stupid.
What does the JSOC give you?
That gives you much less information. I mean, obviously, to some extent, that is the problem you're going to have, is that you get less information from.
You get different amounts of information from.
Different amounts of information from different places.
Yeah.
But I mean, that so much can't really practically be avoided, but you can at least support the same syntax. And we need a way to be able to inspect the response for the information that is available. And at the moment, VSO doesn't. If there's a file the same name there, it doesn't handle it neatly at all. It just downloads the file again and puts a .0 on the end.
What's wrong with that?
it's not consistent with behavior we've implemented elsewhere in SunPy for a start. And secondly, it would probably be more useful for it to either skip the file if it has already been downloaded, or provide a way to overwrite the same file.
You need like a clobber option, right?
Yeah. Yes, some kind of clobber option.
Is that enough to block it though? I mean, because like the clobbering, I can see the file naming being more of a problem than the like clobbering or add the .0. Like if the JSOC doesn't give you a file name, then that's a big problem. What do people do anyway? What do people do now? When they get
JSON
to
gives
this?
you a file name. It just doesn't give you as much information about like the wavelength and the instrument and stuff.
Right.
And I mean, some of the light curve downloaders just don't give you any information about the. Don't give you like any information about the wavelength and stuff at all. So
Yeah, well, light curve is, I mean, we're going to have to put more stuff in the sources for the light curve then in that case. And so it's not any information isn't automatic.
yeah, I mean, well, that is to some extent a separate problem, but the framework for the downloader section should really be in place before. I think I've nearly got this working. I fixed 2 of the 3 failing tests.
In 1359?
Yeah. Okay, I don't understand why this is different. This is the same number.
Is it that, Andy, did you said there was, each part of the time range was a different format of the data? It was different data?
Yeah,
A different data type?
that's right. Which is
I
pretty
had a
weird.
look through the constructor and I couldn't really see where that could happen. But it must be something in, well, I'm guessing it's something in Lyra, as opposed to in the light curve parent.
These two tests seem to be doing pretty much exactly the same thing.
We need to look at time range and see what it does. Because it's the time range dot start and the time range dot end. So maybe there's some weird behavior in time range.
Did you say it was just giving a pandas timestamp?
Yes, for the
One is
end
a
time.
Yeah.
The reason it's probably doing that is because like time range is probably checking for a is instance of date time, and a pandas timestamp is an instance of date time. It's a subclass of date time.
I see.
So you should probably just wig it through past time, which is supposed to catch that. These two tests seem to be doing the same thing. Just
Yeah, they do, don't they?
This,
They don't really need both.
the test Lyra level and the test Lyra date are just doing the same thing. just one's downloading 2 different levels of data. Shall I just delete the second one?
I think so. It doesn't seem to do anything different, does it?
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah. They're identical apart from the level thing. How strange.
It's 'cause someone added the level and just copied and pasted the test and modified it to their own ends.
Yeah.
It's the kind of lazy thing I do.
Well, what's the difference again with the bottom one? It was test
That
online.
one seems to be testing from a URL. Like explicitly testing a URL.
Okay.
I don't quite know why. They seem to be basically doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess they want to test whether the creation method still works that way. So, a test passing now with tweet numbers?
Yeah.
Great.
Oh bugger, that's got my modified changelog. It's come along for the ride. Goals.
Any other easy-ish PRs out there? Nothing's passing really.
Hmm.
Don't quite know what happened there. I've just opened 1367.
Okay. I think I can give that a thumbs up pretty quickly. Yes.
If it passes.
I'm going to assume that it does. There we go. It's the fastest +1 in history.
Yep, probably is.
But yes, assuming it passes.
So, okay, with that tested, if I do get test. I recently modified the setup.py thing so that you can just make it run the online tests only,
Mm.
which is kind of handy because they're the ones that break all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to see whether I can run all the online tests and they actually work. Ow.
So why has dumb indux? Why are there two 2 pull requests?
One's for 0.6.
Oh, I see. Right.
In fact, actually, I've milestoned the wrong one.
What's going on? Let's have a look at some of the older stuff that's in here.
So there's 1320 as a backport, right?
1320. There isn't a 1320 open.
So issue.
Sorry, 1361.
1361. Yes. Except I think that now also needs to be PR'd to master, because we never changed that in master like we were planning on it, because
right.
we branched off 0.6.
This is a pull request into master,
No, this is a pull request into master.
isn't it?
Yes, it is. Probably shouldn't be, but okay. I cleared this branch. I add that tag. Yeah, I don't think he meant this to be a PR into master.
Right, it says it's for version 0.5, so...
Yeah.
So this just... Oh yeah, it just changes the... Getting the most recent data, a feature that we're going to remove anyway soon, but it's good to fix it.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. It's a feature that was going to be removed, which is why we weren't going to PR it to master, but we branched off 0.6 before we removed it.
Yeah, I see. I think. But I mean, it's an easy fix, so yeah, it's fine. Let's see. He just keeps going back one day at a time until he finds the file that exists.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that works. I'm just gonna +1 it. Assuming get all the PR to the right place sorted out. Backporting corrections to goes operational time ranges. Is this 1324 finished?
1324.
He's changed all the operational dates for the goes satellite. This is a backport as well. So I guess the problem here is that he's adjusting the dates, but now and then just you get a fail because some of the goes files are just kind of screwed up, right? And so he made a list of the dates where that happens. I'm not sure what we're going to do with that list, but we could... I don't know if that's a problem, though, because if it fails, it should say a useful error, like file does not exist or
I think we were
memory
going to
file.
make a manual test that you could run to check which days were not available or something. Like,
Yeah,
that doesn't run as part of the testing, but is in the test folder that can be manually executed.
yeah. I don't think it's a big problem in all honesty. I mean, if user tries to create goes like curve and then it says no, file not found, then it's kind of file not found. It's not there.
Yes.
That seems like a fairly easy to understand error. So I guess you could get weird things like said you get a key error on some files. That's probably pretty weird. I don't know why you'd get that. Anyway, it looks fine.
Which one is that?
1324. There are actually quite a lot of dates where a file does not exist. Oh well.
Get bad data.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. It's Noah's fault.
Burn the witch. Been speaking to Joe about the SDO data at JSOC recently.
We are still on air, right?
Yep, it's terrifying. Terrifying. Is there anything else major to go over?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so. In fact, I should go. I have another meeting in like 20 minutes.